Even though this episode was a pretty strenuous one for one of our liars, it was also full of lots of love, so let's get this episode of What Happened started. What's up, y'all? Lisa here with another PLL recap, this time on episode 718, titled Choose or Lose. I'm gonna admit I'm exhausted right now because I literally just got off a flight from New York, started watching this episode, wrote it up. Yeah, I've been up for a very long time, so I'm so tired. I'm trying to get through this. So I'm gonna make this recap shorter than normal, so if I miss any hints or super details, I apologize. My brain could just not process them tonight, and so this is not going to be super in-depth. I'm just going to try to hit the biggest key points, maybe elaborate on some. You get the point. But here we go. First, Detective Fury is out and Detective Tanner is in. Yeah, she is back. Turns out Detective Fury has actually removed himself from the case, which seems in a way quite an abrupt end to that character, but also I'm kind of excited that Detective Tanner is back because I do kind of love her and the way she interacts with the girls. She really honestly just goes like head to head with them each time. It's so good. I feel like she's the only one who could really butt heads with them.
Detective Fury is no longer on this case. I'm in charge now.
Tanner is asked to actually be put in charge of the case of Archer Dunhill's murder, and basically she's kind of determined to bring these girls down for that murder or prove that they had something to do with it. So how is she going to do that? Well, she's already causing all kinds of trouble in these girls' lives. She's already gone out and gotten search warrants to take all the stuff from the girls' places, and that includes all their phones, and while Spencer does buy them all burner phones, AD has actually conveniently left Aria her own special phone. Speaking of Aria, her cover is blown in this episode, which we kind of got that preview last week. Mona has been hard at work, and I guess I was a little quick to judge at the end of last episode, thinking that she was back on AD's side or up to something shady. She really is just kind of hard to read and trust sometimes, but I think I've decided that she really is on the girl's side. She's just moving at her own pace and really kind of getting in there in depth to figure out how everything is working. Anyway, she tells the other girls that she believes Aria is working for AD and brings up all the evidence, including who was the only person around that could have planted that Mary Drake tape, who was the only liar missing during that whole locker thing. Mona also plays them part of the phone call Aria had on that special phone earlier in the day with AD, where Aria is basically telling AD she wants to meet and that AD owes her. Even though the girls' phones are gone, AD has left the game phone in the suite they're all in at the Radley, and the phone tells them they have 36 hours to choose or lose, hence the name of the episode, which basically means either one girl confesses or they all go down. So Aria goes to the playground in her hoodie to meet AD, but before she can meet AD, the rest of the girls show up, and yeah, things aren't pretty. Aria ends up filling them in on the whole situation of why she worked with AD, the whole file thing with Ezra, all this, and basically the girls are like, so yeah, you chose Ezra over the rest of us, huh? Yeah. Everyone's really mad at Aria, but the one who is most mad is definitely Spencer. I mean, Aria kind of turned her whole family upside down. Her parents are getting divorced. Things are just going wrong for Spencer right now. The girls are then called back to the police station, and Tanner lays it out for them. She basically tells them the police now have a lot of evidence, including some pieces of a windshield they found in Spencer's shower drain, which match the fragments under Archer's fingers. Also, Tanner points out that they know that Lucas's car just happened to get its windshield replaced recently. Tanner says they're also analyzing the girls' search history on their computers, which makes me laugh because did these girls not know how to clear their search history or use incognito windows? Well, not sure if the police have found anything in the search history yet, but we do know these people have been searching for a lot of things. The police also have footage from the Radley the night Dunhill went missing, including the elevator footage, and Tanner also tells the girls that she's trying to give them a chance to tell their side of the story before her own side becomes the truth. Now, the girls aren't ready to say anything just yet, so Tanner has no choice but to let them all go. Eventually, Spencer comes over to talk to Aria, sort of to apologize but not apologize, but she says that she can't really forgive Aria, and they kind of seem to be on their way to making some amends when the cops show up to ruin everything. The police return Aria's stuff and tell her that they actually have Aria on a red light camera in New Hampshire the night of Dunhill's murder, which means she's off the hook. Yeah, AD got her off the hook, which Spencer's not happy about, and she storms out. We then get the lovey-dovey portion of this episode where we get 3 hookups and a wedding. Sounds like 4 weddings and a funeral, right? I mean, that would kind of be a more appropriate title for Pretty Little Liars, maybe? Anyways, 3 hookups and a wedding. Spoby hook up at Toby's cabin because he resurfaced in this episode because Tanner actually called him in for questioning as well. Ezra also get it on, and it turns out Ezra's actually found out about the file, and he found out when Aria was sleeping one day, so it seems like things are okay there, and Aria's about to confess everything to him, but not before she does this, because she doesn't know if Ezra will still want to talk to her after the confession. Also, Emerson have their intimate time out in the woods, which still kind of weirds me out. Like, why in the woods? No tent this time like Caleb and Hannah, just literally on a blanket in the middle of the woods, and lots of things happen in the woods. Oh, and while all those couples are getting the hanky-panky on, Hannah and Caleb are getting married by the justice of the peace with Hannah's mom by their side. Also, Hannah's mom now knows everything since Caleb spilled the beans to her. Now, I'd just like to take this second to apologize to Tyler Blackburn, because in my recap last week, I actually thought it'd be Allison and Emily getting married just because the close-up of the hands looked kind of like feminine hands, but I guess I was wrong and my bad. Tyler just has really pretty hands, which are much nicer looking than mine. Oh, and just a note here, Caleb and Hannah obviously got married because they love each other, but Caleb did make a good point when he said that if they're married, they actually can't testify against each other, so it's kind of just an added bonus. Now back to the drama. Time has run out and all the girls are together, well, all minus Aria as expected, and Hannah tells the girls that they should make a promise that no matter what happens next or what they each decide to do, they swear the rest of them will understand and no one will be blamed for anything. And I think we hear them all swear, except for actually Allison. But then time runs out on the clock on the game. The phone asks, "What's your choice?" And what happens next? Yeah, Spencer actually smashes the crap out of that phone with some huge rock that she finds in the room. At this time, Caleb, who's been spending the episode searching for the game since it went missing from Allie's house earlier when the cops showed up, AD managed to get the game out of there. Yeah, he's finally gotten a ping on the game, so he calls Ezra. The two go out on a hunt to find this game. So while the girls are all together, Aria has called AD and tells AD that she's going to end all of this and she's going to turn herself in for killing Dunhill, which is interesting because obviously Aria has an alibi now, even as shady as it may be, so why is she giving this all up? Yeah, that guilt, her friendships are really getting to her. Well, AD actually tells her she's too late because the game is over and Aria actually won the grand prize of unlimited freedom and she should enjoy it because things are about to get really messy for her friends. AD then says bye and the phone just magically starts to burn up. Aria then grabs her own phone out of the evidence bag and goes on a drive because it seems like she is on a mission. Maybe she's going to carry out this plan no matter what. We hear her leaving a voicemail for Spencer saying how she's going to make things right. And then Aria hears something thud in her trunk, so she pulls over. When she opens the trunk, dun dun dun. Now, at that moment when Aria is staring into her trunk, a cop car happens to pull up and Aria slams that trunk closed. The episode ends with Caleb and Ezra finding the cell tower being used for the game, which is right by Mona's apartment. They have a heat-seeking camera thingy-mabobber and are like outside of Mona's looking in. They see Mona has the game inside of her apartment. We go into the apartment via the camera and we see Mona looking at the game, and all of a sudden a little jail cell pops out of the game. Mona puts on her glasses and just starts to look at this game. Looks like she's really trying to study it. Okay, so this ending scene, I think Mona, like I said earlier, is obviously trying to actually help the girls. I think she's just really obsessed with the genius of this game and how it works. We know that she is super smart, and I think that someone is smarter than her, she's fascinated, wants to learn how it works. And yeah, I think that this will still look bad though to the other girls who are still having trust issues with her and aren't really sure what's happening. Also, why are the cops right on Aria's tail at the end if Aria has won her unlimited freedom? Is AD working fast to kind of turn that around? Is AD not happy with whatever Aria is going to be doing? Obviously, kind of not. Now, let's take a look at the promo for next week.
The endgame is almost here.
We don't have a lot of time.
The pieces are falling into place.
Only graves that get dug are ours. Somebody's always stealing the game from me.
There's only one move left.
What are we gonna do? Tell the truth?
And find out who killed Charlotte.
Am I supposed to be afraid of you?
Okay, so in the promo, Mona says that someone keeps stealing the game from her, and she looks so upset by it, which means that she can't be AD, because why would someone keep stealing the game from her? That's weird, right? Also, there's a bunch of graves, and we are finally going to learn who Charlotte's killer is. And that kind of means that AD couldn't have killed Charlotte, right? Because we're not going to be learning who AD is until the very end of the show, correct? So was Charlotte's death planned? Or was it by an accident and that was covered up? Or was it just like a one-off killing that just happened to coincide with everything else? I guess we're just gonna have to wait until the next episode, and we only have a few left. Alright, so hit me up in the comments below or on my socials with your thoughts on this episode. Feel free to go more in depth in the comments about any little things I didn't talk about or things that you caught, because like I said, did this one kind of fast. What do you think about Tanner being back in town? Also, thoughts on maybe all that lovey-dovey stuff we got in this episode, and who do you think's gonna be revealed as Charlotte's killer? Let me know, then you can click right over here for my interview with Claire Holt and Mandy Moore. Claire might have told me her favorite thing about working on Pretty Little Liars, and if you like what you see, you can click right here to subscribe. As always, I'm Lisa. Thanks for hanging out with me. Now I'm gonna take a nap. And by nap, I mean actually go to bed and sleep for a solid 12 hours. See ya!